going on, guys? This is the Ghost of Wrestling, and Evolution 2 is here. It's this Sunday. Let's get my official predictions. Now, as I will say, 7 matches. I like that. There were some criticisms leading up to it, rightfully so, about everything being thrown together, which I understand, right? That the two world titles were just the champions going like, "Yo, challenger, fight me," and you're like, "I guess," like, yeah, like I get it, but I will get credit where credit is due. This does look like a pretty solid card, right? All things considered, right? There's going to be some bangers. It is unfortunate that, like, ticket wise, it did flop, unfortunately. So it was set up to fail. It's like right across the street from a Beyonce concert, like, same weekend as Saturday Night's main event, same weekend as All In AEW. It's like, it was set up to fail. So unfortunately, we're probably never seeing an Evolution 3. It sucks, but business. It is what it is. It's all about the money, and if it's not drawing the money, they don't care. So, with all that being said, let's get into the predictions. Starting with the World Championship, EO versus Rhea, and Rhea. How can I say this? Rhea really doesn't need the title, but Raw does need to be shaken up because EO has really done nothing since WrestleMania, like at all. Like WrestleMania was 3 months ago, almost 3 months ago, and she has done nothing with the title at all. Like not one defense. Like it's crazy in 3 months. Like what is happening? Like since she won it, what 4 months ago? I think she won it the Raw after Elimination Chamber. So yeah, it's been 4 months, and she had like one defense. Well, two counting the DQ rematch with Rhea that led to the WrestleMania match. So two defenses in 4 months, which on its own is really not that bad, right? You've seen crazier, especially with Roman, but those two took place in the first month. But afterwards, ain't nothing happened. Like she's not even in the storyline right now. The only story about this was, "Hey, you fight me." And that's it. It's like, this match is going to be a banger. Do not get me wrong. It's probably going to be match of the night. It's my most anticipated match. But I think Raw just needs a shake up. Something needs to change on Raw. And clearly Triple H has no plans for EO right now. So I don't see any reason why she would retain the title besides keeping the title on EO. Right? It's not going to be any storyline, anything. Like Rhea she is the face of women's wrestling right now, right? For better or for worse, she is the face. And so they are going to put her everywhere, put her she's literally on the front of Evolution, right? Point is, why I'm saying that is because everything on Raw in the women's division, some way, some form, kind of not necessarily builds around her, because not really, especially with the Judgment Day stuff. But she's the top of the pyramid, put it that way, right? At some point, every worthy competitor is going to go across Rhea Ripley at some point. That doesn't make sense. All right, point is, I'm rambling. Point is, she's not losing. So my prediction, Rhea wins the championship. Raw needs to shake up. EO has done nothing with it, and she's held it for 4 months now, which 4 months is not it's a pretty decent reign lengthwise. Content-wise, not so, but lengthwise, 4 months is pretty solid. Winner, Rhea. All right, next match. Women's IC Championship Triple Threat, Becky versus Lyra versus Bayley. This is probably my second favorite match of the entire card. The build for this have been fire, even though Bayley's reasoning for not liking Lyra is kind of stupid, but if you just ignore that, it's been fire. The best build of this entire card by far. This is really not even close. Like this is a legit good build here. And how I see this playing out, I see Lyra costing Bayley the win. which means Lyra going to cause Bailey. Becky's going to get the win. Becky retains. That's a prediction. Becky retains. But Lyra costs Bailey in the process. Bailey takes the pin. Becky retains. Lyra versus Bailey at SummerSlam. And Becky gets a new opponent. Who that is, I couldn't tell you. I don't foresee them running back a triple threat at SummerSlam. I wouldn't complain if they did, but I don't see that happening. We gotta move forward. It's gonna be Bailey versus Lyra, and I guess the winner of that will get a singles match. I think it's Clash at Paris after SummerSlam. I think it's that. I think they get the rematch. I think it's gonna be the 1-on-1 there. I think that's how you get that match. I don't know who wins, Bailey versus Lyra. I don't know, but I think that's what they're gonna do. I think they're gonna set up a singles match at SummerSlam for the number one contendership. I think that's how they're gonna do it. So, prediction: Becky retains. And then we have the other women's world title match: Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus. Probably the easiest one to predict of the Evolution card. Tiffany is not losing, especially a month before her scheduled match against Jade. I don't see Trish Stratus versus Jade Cargill at SummerSlam. I don't want to see that, to be honest. Their styles do not fit at all. they really don't. But yeah, she's not losing. Would I be mad if Trish Stratus held the world championship for a little bit? No, I think we'd all love it. She doesn't have to hold it for long. Could be like 2 months, 3 months. That's it. You don't really need too crazy long of a reign. But yeah, Tiffany's not losing. This match has had no build. You just showed up last SmackDown. Was like, yeah, fight me. And like, okay. Evolution it is. Like, it sucks. The build. At least Io versus Rhea has like the past to build on. Story like Io hasn't lost to Rhea ever. Like Io is undefeated against Rhea. This build has none of that. It's just, hey, legend, I like you. Fight me. Like that's it. And it sucks. But it is what it is. Point is, Tiffany retains. She's not losing to Trish. And then we have the Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag. Judgment Day versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus the Kabuki Warriors and So Rogan and Zarya. Off rip, we can eliminate the NXT team. I don't see them winning. I don't. Not a main roster championship. I don't see that, especially since they don't go down to NXT anymore all that often. So I would be considering them more if the NXT title went down. Not NXT title. The women's tag titles was defending NXT as well. Like they barely ever do that. I think that would just be a waste. And then the next we can eliminate is the Kabuki Warriors. Would I complain if they did win? No. However, it seems like with the other two teams, they're building something there, right? The Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss is like the frenemies thing that can be really interesting if you introduce a championship into the mix. Now they are forced to work together. I think that would be a nice little story dynamic. And obviously with the Judgment Day replacing Liv, and I think them retaining the championship would progress that story even more, get Raquel to like Roxanne even more. So by time, I guess, like Rumble season around there, Roxanne and Raquel are really close besties, and then Liv comes back, and it's like, whoa, you forgot me? So something like that. They're clearly building to that story the same way they did with Liv, and ironically, when Rhea got hurt. I think that's what they're going to do. So between those two teams, I wouldn't be mad if either one. But if I had to predict which of those two teams would win, Raquel and Roxanne or Charlotte Flair and Bliss, I'm going Flair and Bliss. I think you can tell more. You can still tell the Judgment Day story without the titles. But I think with Charlotte Flair and Alexa, I think that's going to lead somewhere, right? I don't know when. It will lead to something. Either will lead to Alexa joining the White Six or some sort of feud between the two, because it's going to happen. It's wrestling. Tag teams will break up, especially when two single stars are put in a team. They're going to split eventually. It's just how wrestling works. right? So I think they don't need to hold it long either, right? It could be a month, not even a month, like two weeks. Have them drop it back to the Judgment Day. You can even do it at SummerSlam if you want to, right? You can just give them a little. You had the title. There you go. All right, something like that. It don't need to be too long. Just for Charlotte Flair to get a new championship, get Alexa Bliss back into the championship picture in some form. I wouldn't be mad at it. But if the Judgment Day did win, like I said, I wouldn't be mad at it because I understand storyline wise where they want to go with that. So, final prediction: Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss wins the women's tag championships. And then we have the final world championship match, the NXT Women's Champion. I don't watch too much NXT, so I can't really give you guys a deep analysis, but I do know enough about the two to kind of predict. To me, from a little bit I've seen, JC Jane doesn't seem like a champion that's going to be around for too long. Right? She doesn't give the vibes of like an Oba. Like Oba's going to hold that title for a long time. He isn't dropping that title no time soon. JC, however, she doesn't really seem like a. She seems more of a transitional champ than a dominant champ. If that makes sense. Like the type that will hold it for like 2 months max and then drop it. She seems like that type to me. And then Jordan, she's going to the main roster sooner rather than later. Apparently, there was like a report saying that she was going to SmackDown soon. If I'm remembering that correctly, maybe I'm not. But she's not going to be on the main roster, be on NXT for too long, right? I think I say Rumble season next year, she should be on the main roster by that point, or at least going into the main roster after the Rumble. So a short little, what are we in July, 4 or 5 month reign. It's not too bad, right? You can have her drop it like December, November ish. It doesn't need to be too long, especially with the women's division down in NXT. It is stacked. So she doesn't really need to hold it for that long. She can just not necessarily a hot potato transition champ kind of thing, but definitely give her a reign before she goes to the main roster. Because she's not going to be down in NXT for very long, especially since we all thought in the beginning, when she first debuted last Royal Rumble, she was going straight to Raw SmackDown. I don't think anybody really thought she was going down to NXT. The fact that she's down there in the first place kind of makes me believe she's not going to be down there for very long. So if I had to give an official prediction, who wins the NXT Women's Championship, and the fact that they're doing this on Evolution instead of Great American Bash, kind of goes to tell me they're planning something big. So, winner Jordan Grace. In the second to last match, we have the Women's Battle Royal for a title opportunity at Clash at Paris. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, I have no clue who is even in this. I have no clue who could be in this. I can give you guys a couple predictions who might come back. I think we get to see a Bella Twins reunion, so Brie returning. I do think we get Lita at some point, right? I do think we get maybe a TNA or a AAA. That's my prediction: TNA or AAA star, and then a return we haven't seen in a long time. Whether it's Mickie James or I heard Paige or Saraya or whatever her name is a free agent. She might come back at that. The Battle Royal, make a super duper long shot. I'm talking Aaron Rodgers long shot. I'm talking Hail Mary maybe like a 0.0001% chance is AJ Lee. That's not happening, but it's technically still possible. It could be anybody, but yeah, that's really all the predict. Maybe we get like a Victoria, maybe Isis Band, or Kelly, or Michelle McCool, or Layla. I don't know. It's going to be somebody we haven't seen in a long time. I do think they will return. It's a battle royal, so it's going to be inherently interesting, especially with the stipulation of a world title opportunity. So that's going to tell itself. So if I had to give a prediction on who would win, uh, I don't know, Stephanie McCare, I guess. She hasn't done anything since Money in the Bank. So, yeah. That's the only name I can really think of that it's either going to be one of the returning people we haven't seen in a long time or Stephanie McCare. So if I had to pick between the two, I'd say a returning star wins. Who was going to be? I couldn't tell you. I just couldn't tell you. But point is, that's my prediction. Returning superstar wins the women's battle royal. And the last match is Jade Cargill versus Naomi in a nose hold barred match. And again, this is easy to predict. We have a challenger who's fighting next month for a world title match and a Money in the Bank holder, right? There's a clear winner here, right? It's going to be Jade, right? Jade is not losing, especially in a no holds barred match. Or right before she challenges for the world title match, it wouldn't make sense for her to lose and then expect people to take her serious for a world title match, right? Like that's not happening, right? So yeah, she's clearly winning. I think the match will be entertaining. I like the WrestleMania match. The WrestleMania match was pretty entertaining. I enjoyed it. People didn't like it. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a solid match, especially with the stipulation of it being no holds barred. You know, it ups the ante a little bit. So yeah, that's I think pretty clear prediction there. I think Naomi's definitely cashing in on Jade slash Tiffany at SummerSlam. I think that's the most obvious layup they can possibly do is cashing in like after the match. I think Jade beats Tiffany and then Naomi comes in, cashes in world champ, and they go from there. I think that's the prediction. Tell you, for all that to work, Jade needs to win, build momentum up to SummerSlam, get her hype up, get her, get attention and eyes and hype around her. That in fact to work, she needs to win. So prediction, Jade Cargill wins. And those are the 7 match predictions. Let's go through them one more time. Women's World Championship, Rhea wins. Women's IC Champ, Becky retains. Tiffany versus Trish, Tiffany retains. Fatal 4-way tag match, Flair and Bliss wins. Women's Battle Royal, a returning superstar, Jade versus Naomi, Jade, and the NXT Women's Champion, Jordynne Grace. There's my predictions. Let me know yours in the comments. And while you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that noti bell for more wrestling videos. This is the Ghost of Wrestling signing out. Stay spooky.